Dear students, in this video we are going to discuss about the parotid gland. Parotid gland is the largest salivary gland and it is serous in nature. If you see this gland, you can first, before going to the discussion, you have to elevate and separate the gland from the underlying structures. Then only you can understand the relations properly. So keep it ready and then start your discussion by telling the shape of the gland. This is inverted pyramidal in shape and the extent of the gland. It extends superiorly up to the ear. Here auricle is there. This is external acoustic meatus and here is the temporomandibular joint. For the understanding purpose, I have taken the skull and the mandible here. So here is the external acoustic meatus and here is the joint temporomandibular joint. So if you keep like this, this is a temporomandibular joint, right? So next thing, inferiorly. If you come down inferiorly, it extends up to the carotid triangle. If I lift this sternocleidomastoid, you can see inside the carotid sheath structures present here. So it is extending up to the carotid triangle down. And then anteriorly, it overlaps the masseter muscle. You can see very well the masseter muscle which is present here in the ramus of the mandible outer surface. This is masseter anteriorly. And posteriorly, it overlaps the sternocleidomastoid. So here is your mastoid process. So same thing here, behind the ear you have the mastoid process, right? These are about the extent. And then medially it goes deep. So medially it goes deep and here is your pharyngeal tubercle where the pharynx starts. This is the area where your pharynx starts. Okay, so there up, so medially it extends up to the pharynx. Then we have to discuss about the surfaces. Surfaces, number one, lift the gland. It is anterior and it is medial. So this surface is called as anteromedial surface. This surface is called as anteromedial surface and this is called as posteromedial surface. So anteromedial surface, posteromedial surface, and this is outside. So you can call it a superficial surface or lateral surface, and then this is called superior surface or the base, and this is called apex. So I have completed the anteromedial surface. Now the relations for the anteromedial surface. Anteromedial surface is related to the masseter muscle and deep inside you have the medial pterygoid. If you see here, this is masseter, deep inside the medial pterygoid muscle, and here the lateral aspect of the temporomandibular joint. Okay, these are all the structures which are related anteromedially. So again I repeat, masseter, medial pterygoid inside and then temporomandibular joint, and through this surface only the branches of the facial nerve emerges out. There are 5 branches of the facial nerve emerging out through this surface: temporal, zygomatic, buccal, and marginal mandibular and cervical. All the branches are emerging out here. And then next comes your posteromedial surface. Posteromedial surface is related to two process. One is called styloid process, mastoid process. Another one is called styloid process. These two structures are here. So mastoid process, the muscle attached to the mastoid process is sternocleidomastoid and posterior belly of digastric. Everyone knows the posterior belly of digastric is going here. And then styloid process, you have 3 muscles: stylohyoid, styloglossus and stylopharyngeus, and 2 ligaments: stylohyoid ligament and stylomandibular ligament. Okay, all these are related with the posteromedial surface. Just tell that the structures attached to the mastoid process and structures attached to the styloid process, they form the posteromedial relations. And the next one, the most important structure which enters through this posteromedial border is, if I reflect this, you can see the external carotid artery coming over here. So the external carotid artery, you can see nice, right? So external carotid artery enters through the posteromedial surface and goes inside the gland and divides into 2 terminal branches, maxillary and superficial temporal. So this is posteromedial surface. The most important artery enter is your external carotid artery. And another one important nerve which enters through this surface is this is the foramen called stylomastoid foramen. So you can see the stylomastoid foramen here. So through that your facial nerve emerges out. So after emerging out, the facial nerve enters into the gland through this posteromedial surface. Okay, so 2 structures I have told here. One is external carotid artery, another one is your facial nerve. Finished. And then third one is the superior surface. Superior surface is related to the temporomandibular joint and the external acoustic meatus, and two important structures are seen here. One is your superficial temporal artery and another one is your auriculotemporal nerve. Okay, so superficial temporal artery and another one is auriculotemporal nerve. Superficial temporal artery, auriculotemporal nerve. These two structures, they are related to the superior surface or the base. And the apex last. Okay, apex, if I reflect, you can see the lovely retromandibular vein is emerging out through the surface. The two divisions of retromandibular vein are coming out through the apex. So, the retromandibular vein is formed inside the gland and it comes out through the apex. Finished. And then superficial surface or lateral surface. Superficial surface, as usual, it is covered by skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia. Deep fascia is nothing but the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. It comes over here near the angle of the mandible and it splits into two. One is superficial lamina, another goes down as deep lamina. The superficial lamina comes over the parotid gland and it is called as parotidomasseteric fascia and it is attached to the zygomatic bone. Okay, and the deep lamina which goes inside between the styloid process and the mandible, ramus of the mandible, it gets thickened and forms a ligament called stylomandibular ligament. So, attachment of stylomandibular ligament is from the styloid process to the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible. This area is called ramus, this is posterior border. This is the attachment of the stylomandibular ligament. It is derived from the deep lamina of investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Since this parotidomasseteric fascia is tightly adherent to the gland, it is also called as parotid capsule. The swelling of the parotid gland is very painful. So, finished. So, we have done with the anteromedial surface, posteromedial surface, superior surface, apex and superficial surface or lateral surface. Finished. Then borders. Borders are nothing but the two surfaces meeting point is called border. So, superficial surface meets with the anteromedial surface. This border is called anterior border. Through that only the most important duct, your parotid duct, emerges out and all the branches of the facial nerve also comes out. And then next is posterior border, where the posteromedial surface meets the superficial surface. This is called as posterior border. And then the third one is both anteromedial surface and the posteromedial surface deep inside they meet, that is called as medial border. It is related to the pharynx. Already I showed you, it is deep inside this. Okay, this is the area where you have the pharyngeal tubercle. This is the area. Okay, nice. Then that's all about the surfaces and borders. Now next thing is processes. Processes, one is going up near the temporomandibular joint, that is called clinoid process. Another one goes towards the face along the parotid duct, it is called as facial process. Another one comes here near the pterygoid, it is called as pterygoid process. Another one goes near the styloid process, it is called post-styloid process. So there are four processes for the parotid gland. Next comes your blood supply. Blood supply of the parotid gland, structures present inside the parotid gland. The structures present inside the parotid gland are, number one, from medial to lateral, it means from deep to superficial. So, medial to lateral are, number one, external carotid artery, number two, retromandibular vein, number three is your facial nerve. So, external carotid artery enters inside and divides into two terminal branches. One is maxillary, another one is superficial temporal. Retromandibular vein is formed by the union of superficial temporal vein with the maxillary vein. According to the Cunningham's, it is formed by the union of superficial temporal, middle temporal, maxillary vein and transverse facial vein. All the structures together, they form the retromandibular vein. Then the retromandibular vein divides into two divisions and comes out here through the apex. Along the apex, you have one more nerve, that is cervical branch of facial nerve also comes through the apex, cervical branch of facial nerve. And the next question, we have done with the structures present inside. The most important third structure is facial nerve. The facial nerve, it divides into two important divisions inside that. One is temporofacial, another one is cervicofacial. Temporofacial will be divided into temporal and zygomatic, and cervicofacial will be divided into buccal, marginal mandibular and cervical. This is how all the five branches are coming out from the anterior border. Then the arterial supply. Arterial supply is by the external carotid artery branches. Venous drainage drains into the external jugular vein, and lymphatic drainage is divided into superficial group and deep group. Superficial group, it drains the auricle and anterior upper part of the anterior quadrant of the scalp and upper part of the face. And the deep lymph nodes, they drain the external acoustic meatus, middle ear and deeper part of the cheek and auditory tube. All these are draining into the deeper nodes. Ultimately, all the nodes are draining into the deep cervical group of nodes. So that's about the lymphatic drainage. Next comes the important thing, nerve supply. Nerve supply, you have parasympathetic secretomotor. Since it is a parotid gland, salivation is the important function. So one, parasympathetic secretomotor, second is sympathetic, and third is your sensory. So number one, parasympathetic. Before going into the parasympathetic, I will tell you the superficial surface. We forgot to talk about the superficial surface. The superficial surface is related to skin, superficial fascia and deep fascia, parotid capsule, everything we said. Along with that, you should add few lymph nodes, and the most important nerve which supplies the skin over the parotid gland is great auricular nerve. So this time you should include great auricular nerve since we are discussing about the nerve supply. So now I will tell you one by one. Skin over the parotid is supplied by the great auricular nerve 1. Number 2, secretomotor pathway starts from the inferior salivatory nucleus and through the glossopharyngeal nerve it comes out and it forms a tympanic plexus from the tympanic branch and lesser petrosal nerve, and it relays in the aortic ganglion. From there it catches the auriculotemporal nerve and reaches the parotid gland. This is the parasympathetic secretomotor pathway, and sympathetic pathway is from the sympathetic plexus around the middle meningeal artery which comes and supplies the parotid gland, and the sensory fibers are from the auriculotemporal nerve. Finished. So we have done with the nerve supply, and skin over the parotid also we have done. Great auricular nerve. Finished nerve supply. The last one is the parotid duct. Parotid duct emerges out through the anterior border and it pierces three important structures. One is buccal pad of fat, second is buccopharyngeal fascia, and the third one is buccinator muscle. After piercing all these things, it enters into the oral cavity, into the vestibule of the mouth, opposite to the crown of the upper second molar tooth, where it opens. This is the area where the parotid duct opens. And then along with the parotid duct, in the upper part you can have the accessory parotid gland, and then this parotid duct is also called as Stenson's duct. And the clinical importance of parotid gland is parotid swelling is very painful because of the capsule adherent to it. Number 2, Frey syndrome. Frey syndrome is nothing but when you do the parotidectomy, then sometimes the aberrant regeneration of the auriculotemporal nerve which is present inside joins with the great auricular nerve, and whenever you feel like eating, that time salivation occurs. At the same time you will be having sweatings over the skin on the parotid gland. Okay, hyperemia and sweating will be there. This is called as Frey syndrome because of the aberrant regeneration of the auriculotemporal nerve. And then if there is any calculi in the duct, you can see it through the xylogram. So xylogram is a procedure which is used to check for the calculus of the parotid duct. So parotid abscess can be drained by a method called Hilton's method near the angle of the mandible. You can put the incision here and you can drain the abscess here. So that's all about the parotid gland. So summary, we have done the shape of the gland, site of the gland and extent of the gland, and the surfaces and relations. Surfaces: anteromedial surface, posteromedial surface, superior surface, and the apex, superficial surface. So 5 surfaces: anterior border, posterior border and medial border we have done. And then structures inside from deep to superficial or medial to lateral, external carotid artery, retromandibular vein, facial nerve we have done, and the 5 branches of facial nerve I told. And next, Frey syndrome, the most important one, and the processes we have told, and we have done with the parotid gland. The most important, parasympathetic secretomotor pathway of the parotid gland, you should not forget to talk. Thank you.